championship weekend is coming up, and we get to see who will be in the college football playoff. Now, one of those teams I think should be in the college football playoff is the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks in the Pac-12 championship game, they take on the Washington Huskies. Evan, what are your initial thoughts on this game?
So, Friday, we're going to kick it off right away. You think college football Saturday, but this game's on a Friday. So we got 2 days of action, and this might be the biggest game of the weekend. So Jake thinks Oregon deserves to get in. Well, they win, they're in. For sure, they win, they're in. If they lose, then, Washington's in, right? So I think I was shocked that Oregon is a 9.5 point favorite. I understand it being close, but Washington's undefeated. That is crazy to me. So it's gonna be the battle of the quarterbacks. It's gonna be Penix and Bo Nix, but so we know it's gonna be high scoring. But can a defense get a? Can either of these defenses get a takeover? Can they get a turnover, interception, fumble, anything? I think that's what it's gonna come down to because this is gonna be a barn burner. Defense isn't gonna be super high up, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see in this game. Obviously, Oregon, their powerful offense with Bo Nix and Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin just became, I think they say he was the most wide receiver with the most receptions in Oregon history. So, obviously Troy Franklin is looking to add on to that, and Bo Nix is looking to get him the football.
Beat them.
And
Yep.
out of the backfield as well, Bucky Irving, Bo Nix will get him the football as well. And Bo Nix likes to run the football as well. So, I think he has 5 rushing touchdowns this year, maybe 6. So we'll see if he adds to that on Friday night. But let's get to score predictions for that game. I got Oregon winning that game 31. I'm gonna say 31-21. Evan.
Wow, 10 points. You got them covering. I got
I
Washington
do.
35-34. I think it's going to be a barn burner. It's not easy to beat a team twice in a season. Washington will do it.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. The next game up we got is the SEC championship game. We got Georgia and Alabama. Evan, your initial thoughts on this game?
So we've already talked about this extensively. Go check out me Jordan's video on this, but I will keep it brief and I will reiterate the same points that I made. Um, Georgia should, on paper, win this game by 2 to 3 touchdowns. Alabama, I don't know what to think about them, but I do know what to think about Georgia. I know that they have an explosive offense. Carson Beck has showed out this year. Yes, the defense has lost some talent in the last 2 years to the NFL draft, but they're still very talented. And I don't trust Jalen Milroe in the Alabama offense. They got lucky last week. So, yeah, I expect a strong Georgia performance, unless if they come out slow, which they haven't versus big name teams all year. So I don't expect it again.
Georgia is powerful on both offense and defense. Carson Beck, we will see if Lag McConkey and Brock Bowers plays in this game, but I don't think it will make a difference. I still got Georgia up by, 2 touchdowns. I got Georgia 31-17.
40, I think, yeah, I had Georgia 42-24. That's what I had.
Yeah. So now let's talk about a smaller conference championship game, but still with mentioning we got Liberty in North Mexico State. Evan, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because these are two newcomers to Conference USA. They were not in Conference USA, and now they're meeting in the championship. So that's pretty cool. Liberty's been a good team for a while. Obviously, that's where Malik Willis came from, but they're top 25 now. I don't know the exact ranking, but and then New Mexico State is
24.
24, okay. And then New
Yeah,
Mexico State is 9-3. Very impressive year after starting the season
10 and
losing
3.
to, they lost to UMass at home, which was rough. But I think this should be a comfortable Liberty win, but expect some points from New Mexico State too.
Yeah, I think this would be a comfortable Liberty win as well. Liberty's obviously undefeated. They win 24. They're favored by 10.5 according to Yahoo Sportsbook. I think Liberty covers that. I think Liberty takes this one. I'm gonna say 21-3.
Yahoo has a sports book? I didn't know that, huh?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. What are your score predictions on this game, man?
Um, I'll stick to comfortable win. I will go Liberty 35-21.
Fair enough. So you think they cover as well?
Yes.
Let's go to Texas, Oklahoma State. Evan, you want to thoughts on this one?
as the dog enters. I
As
will
oh
take
yeah, I know.
with Texas and Oklahoma State, you can't sleep on Oklahoma State, right? They've had a really weird year, right? They started slow, they got blown out by South Alabama, but then they had a really strong year in conference play. They beat Oklahoma, obviously didn't get it done enough, but they're still in the conference championship, so that's something. And then Texas is playing, even if they win, they're going to need some help to get in the playoff. So they're going to be motivated. I had this one as an upset. On paper, Texas looks good in this game, but I think Mike Gundy is going to have his boys ready to go. I have this as an upset. Pretty medium scoring game. But Texas, they've got their reputation if they can't get it done in the big ones. So for the last 20 years or so. So I'm sticking with that right now.
Yeah, I mean, in my book, this game will be close. Texas should win this game. They're talented on both defense and offense. They have the better offense and defense both on paper. So I think, this game will even be close. I don't think Texas is gonna cover the 14.5 spread. I think Texas will win by field goal. I got the Longhorns 31-28.
That is a ginormous spread for this game. I would be hammering Oklahoma State if I was betting, but I will take Oklahoma State to win 31-28. Ewers goes out and Arch Manning takes over next year.
We will see on that. Speaking of big spreads, we will talk about this game later. But first up, we got Miami, Ohio, and Toledo. Evan, your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so the MAC was interesting this year, as it always is. Toledo had a very strong season. They had some scares like a couple weeks ago. They were down big to Bowling Green, and then they came back and won. And then Miami, Ohio is a very solid team. In the MAC, you never know. So this is probably going to be a close game. But Toledo, led by DeQuan Finn, dual threat quarterback. They got a strong offense. I think they should have a good game.
Yeah, I think the Kwang thing will be a big test for this Miami, Ohio defense, and I don't think they're up to it. Um, you know, Toledo's obviously got that powerful offense like we've been talking about most teams so far in this video. I think Toledo will cover their 7.5 spread. I got Toledo 31-21.
Yeah, I have
And then
Toledo. I'm gonna put Toledo 23 to 13.
fair enough. And then next up we got UNLV and Boise State. Boise State is a 2.5 favorite on the road. Evan.
So apparently they picked this championship game by a computer generator. I forget how this goes. It was supposed to be San Jose State, UNLV, and Boise State. And I guess, San Jose State was the lucky ones left out. So that's so stupid. But anyways, I don't know too much about that though, so I won't get in. But if that's true, that's really dumb. Boise State's the experienced team. UNLV has been bad for a while, and they had a good season this year. I believe they're both 6-2 in conference play. Should be a good game. Give me experience though. I think Boise State should play a pretty good game.
Yeah, give me Boise State. I like Boise State on the road. I'm gonna take Boise State to cover the 2.5 spread. I'm gonna take Boise State 28-16.
It's getting tough to think of some scores. I'm gonna take Boise State 28-20.
It is getting tough to think of some scores. Let's
Gotta
go
think of some different stuff.
SMU.
It can't all be the same, but yeah.
Exactly. Let's go SMU and Tulane. Evan, your initial thoughts on this one?
Really underrated good game. So SMU has an explosive offense. They've hanged 50, 60 all year in some pretty good games. And then Tulane obviously was very good last year. I think the problem is their ranking and that they were ranked for a little bit this year. I think their ranking last year is kind of carrying them this year. And they're still a very good team, but they're not quite as good. I like the explosive SMU offense in this one, but it should be a good game.
Yeah, two very good underrated quarterbacks, Michael Pratt for Tulane and Preston Stone for SMU, both of which quarterbacks should enter the draft this year, but we will see. I like SMU on the road. Give me SMU 35-21.
Give me SMU 45-35.
All right, next game up, we got Appalachian State and Troy. Troy is a 6.5 favorite at home. This game is Saturday at 4 p.m. on ESPN. Evan?
This should be a good game because I actually forgot who I picked in this one. I believe I'm like 90% sure I picked Troy, so I'm gonna go with that. But obviously Appalachian State, they've been a very good team for a while. Last couple of years they've been good, but they've just been making bowl games. They haven't really competed for the championship. And then this year there was kind of the same until they knocked off James Madison, which was a ginormous win. I believe it was on the road too. So to knock
It
off James
was.
Madison, who was undefeated, that's a huge win. That cannot be understated. But this has trap game to feel to me. I think Appalachian State. Did they say Troy was the favorite? I'm surprised Troy was the favorite that
Troy
much.
is the favorite.
I know Troy is like 10-2, and they're a good team, and I am going to pick Troy also. But I would have thought Appalachian. So I guess it's not a trap game, but I do think Troy comes out with the win. It should be a close game.
Yeah, this should be a very close game. I like Troy in this game. I don't like them to cover though, but I'm gonna take Troy 15 to I'm gonna take Troy 21-17.
Troy 20. I'll take Troy 24-21.
Now this is the game I've been waiting to talk about. Michigan and Iowa. And first of all, can I just say I think this is one of the bigger spreads that I have seen in a conference championship game. Michigan is favored by 22.5. Um,
Big Ten
Evan,
West ends next year, but yep. So this is it of this. You won't have a spread this big for a while in a Big Ten championship game. This is the easiest game. Michigan's going to win this game. Will they cover
oh
that
yeah,
spread? I don't know because the Iowa defense is good, but their offense will not produce anything. They've switched quarterbacks throughout the year. Michigan's gotten it done, and the reason why I feel different about Michigan going into the playoff this year is in 2021 when they lost to Georgia, last year when they lost to TCU, right? Michigan, they had a good offense, right? But what was their identity? The identity is the defense. Take it versus Ohio State, for example. Donovan Edwards only ran for 60 something yards. JJ McCarthy only had to pass for like 130 yards. So they didn't need to rely on that much because that defense is good. So yes, Iowa defense is good, but so is Michigan. And Michigan will get the ground game moving. So yeah, Michigan's gonna win. It's an easy pick. I don't know if it'll be that much of a blowout though.
yeah. This game is pretty interesting. Iowa, worth mentioning, Iowa's over under in the first half is half a point.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy. Field goal time,
so
but yep.
that is crazy. I saw that the other day. So that is very
That
interesting.
is
But I think
insane, by the way. Yeah.
this should be an easy game for Michigan. I think Michigan. I don't know. I'm gonna agree with Evan right here. I don't know if Michigan will cover the 22.5 point spread, but it would be very interesting. Also, the over-under on this game is only 35.5.
We
So
lost you for a second. What was that?
we did lose me for a second. The over-under on this game is only 35.5. So
And I think the
I think
previous week
that
was like 26.5. I'm gonna say it hits the under and Michigan covers. I changed my mind mid-sentence on that. Michigan covers. Give me Michigan 27-3 over Iowa. Michigan and Iowa gets that field goal in the first half, so the over hits on that. But yeah,
Michigan, give me Michigan to cover the spread. Give me Michigan over. Give me the over on the over-under. Give me Michigan 37-3.
wow,
I
that would be a
don't think
blowout. Yeah,
I don't think Iowa stood a chance in this game.
Iowa defense giving up 37 would be hilarious because everyone always talks about, and I do agree their defense is good, but that'd be hilarious. Or their defense is so good they just gave up 37 in a championship game. That's not so good, but yeah.
Yeah. And now the interesting last game that we're going to talk about, the ACC championship game, Louisville and Florida State. Louisville obviously has Jack Plummer. Florida State just lost Jordan Travis, so they're going to go Kate Rodemaker. Florida State's still favored by 2.5. Florida State's also 12-0. Louisville's 10-2. Evan, how do you see this game shaping out?
So this is my second big upset of the week. I picked Oklahoma State, of course. I'm picking Louisville here. And I guess it's not that big of as 2.5, right? But Louisville, they lose to Kentucky last week, so that's got to be considered. So they're not, they're not all of that. But I think they have just enough. The offense has been good enough. Who's their running back? His name's Jordan, right? Like the Louisville running back.
Jawal Jordan.
Jawad Jordan, right? He's been really good, especially when Plummer's been a little bad. That's their quarterback, of course. And but Plummer could do enough, and Jordan could do enough. And FSU is going to make this a game. Of course, they're undefeated. They got a chance to go to college football playoff. They're not going to take this laying down. But I think the Louisville offense is just going to creep out a little too much for the FSU offense without Jordan Travis to score. So I think Louisville is going to fare well here.
Yeah, give me Louisville in this game. I think Jack Plummer goes for over 250. I think the Louisville offense exposes the FSU defense and they fall out of the college football playoff. Give me Louisville 31-27.
I will take Louisville 28-24. Close game.
Uh, and that will go for the championship week games, but I do want to talk about one more game, and this is the most exciting game, I think. Army Navy next week. Army Navy, Evan.
Gonna be
This is
honest.
also there's
Go ahead.
always a fun game to talk about. So, how do you see this one going?
Gonna be honest, I don't know too much about Navy this year. I know they've struggled a lot. I watched a little bit of Army. It's the same regular triple option, right? You got the fullback, the tailback, and the quarterback running. Army, they've had like earlier this year. I watched the game against UTSA. They played very well, but against some other teams, there's some limitations to what that ground game could do. I think they beat Air Force. Which one of them beat Air Force? That was Army, right? Well, Jake's checking that. I will continue, but
I am checking that. Army did beat Air Force 23-3.
so that was surprising. So Army's had some moments this year. I don't think Navy's had some moments. So I'll take Army. Should be a fun game, of course. Service Academy is always awesome to see that at Lincoln Financial Field. Look,
Yeah, Service Academy games are always awesome to see. Army, they actually upset Air Force earlier in the year. They upset them 23-3, as I just mentioned. Navy's 5-6 as well. They lost to Air Force actually. They lost 17-6. Um, they got blown out by the Fighting Irish the first game of the season. Give me Army. Army's favored by 2 in this game. Give me Army cover. I think they're gonna win 31-24.
I will take. You know what? Last game, I'm going to take the same exact score prediction. I will take Army 31-24. Actually, you know what? I don't think Navy is that good. Give me Army 31. I'll keep the Army score 31-10 Army. And then we gotta ask Thomas though, because we gotta get his Marines football team going. Like there's gotta be. I know they pride themselves on actually not having a football team, but come on, it'd be fun.